Hi, my name is Christian and I started my training as a driving instructor in November 2025 and I chose Red as my training provider. The main reason there was that they offered a deal, Black Friday, for $18.99 that included the whole training journey, and I thought that was good value for money, and I still think so. I have since completed my part 1 and last week my part 2. The longest bit there wasn't any training or preparation, it was just the wait because the DVSA didn't have any slots for a part 2 test, so that took a month to finally get a slot. My training with Red was really good. Part 2, part 1 was good as well. It was just an online training course. I could have done that myself with books and other training sources, but it was well made, no problem there. And the part 2 training had a theoretical side that was online, and it had 10 hours practical training with a driving instructor. That was fantastic. I had a really good instructor who showed me the ropes, because you don't really know. I mean, you can watch as many online videos about the part 2 exam as you want to. It is fantastically useful to have somebody who actually tells you what to do and what not to do. So we drove around and he said, don't do this, do this differently, position yourself there. Really useful. Then we did a mock exam, and then we had another 2 hours after the mock exam just to polish things up, and that prepared me fantastically well. So Mikael, my instructor, signed me off, and I finally had my part 2 test on the 29th of April, which I passed first time, with 5 driving faults. One of them, a quite funny one, where I had a meeting situation where my examiner told me that I should have proceeded into the meeting situation. I think her view was obstructed by a hedge. She only could sort of glimpse the meeting situation in the beginning, and then her view was obscured because I pulled over to the side, and that made her give a judgment that I probably don't agree with. I think if I would have proceeded, I would have ended up in a standoff, and one of us would have had to reverse, and I can't see a white van driver reversing. That would have been me. I think I would have failed my part 2 if I would have proceeded, but it doesn't matter. I passed, and that's the main thing. You can judge yourself. I'll quickly show you the clip. Here it is. So you've seen it. Could I have proceeded? No, there was no room for 2. The van did not stop. He went straight forward. He was driving at about 20-25 miles an hour when I first saw him. He did not slow down. He didn't pull in. And after a second, there wouldn't have been any meeting points where we could have squeezed past. But that's fine. I mean, examiners are humans as well. Her view was obscured very pretty instantly. You can see that in the video where I pull in on the left, and that will have taken out her view of the whole situation and also made the wait longer. She told me that at the end, she said, we were there for ages, you could have proceeded, and that's probably the perception of that pulling in, taking her view, and then she has 5-6 seconds with nothing happening, and she's going like, why are we here? No problem at all. I've done that, and now comes part 3. Again, I've seen a lot of videos. I haven't started my training yet. I get a total of 40 hours of training with Red, 36 driving practical hours, and 4 webinar type online hours, plus a lot of online resources. And I'm looking forward to see how that pans out. In the meantime, I have 4 students that I've taken on free of charge. I can't charge yet before I have a pink badge, so I'm doing this free of charge just for me to gain experience. I've had my first student who passed after 30 hours of lessons, first attempt with 2 driving faults, so that was fantastic, really good. Well done, Corey. I have 3 more students, Emma, Lily and Saskia, that are nearing completion of their training, but the problem is tests. So they're all waiting. One is in August, one managed to get a test in July, and the other one hasn't passed a theory yet. So we'll take it from there. So that's fantastically good practice for me. I know I'm not perfect. I know I sometimes have to go in and say, look, I told you 10 hours ago to do this and that, and I'm sorry, I've read up on it, and we probably shouldn't do that. We should change that routine. But as they're not paying, they're very tolerant of my faults, and I think as long as they will pass the test, there won't be any problems with that.